Starting a clothing line is just like growing any business. It's extremely hard. There's a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of things that you don't know until you don't know. In this video, I'm gonna give you the top 10 mistakes that clothing lines make within the first year. What's up everyone, my name is Michael. I am the owner of ECG Graphics and Printing. My print shop is located in Southern California. I'm in my shop right now. You can look around me, look all under. I got a whole bunch of jobs that I need to get done. So I'm trying to fit you guys in between production time, just so I can give you guys the game and give you guys information. When me being a print shop owner, you can only imagine the different types of clothing lines that walk through our doors every single day. And through those relationships, I've seen some things that allow for some clothing lines to be more successful than others. So what I wanted to do is I want to share that information with you. If that's something that you're interested in, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can do that by hitting that subscribe button, also banging on that notification bell. The first year to starting a clothing line is extremely important. So there's something that I truly believe in, and that is your thoughts become your actions, and your actions become your habits, and your habits become your legacy. And within the first year of starting a clothing line, a lot of those ideas are now starting to become actions, and those actions oftentimes are bad habits, and they sandbag the progress of that clothing line. Most clothing lines come in with these high expectations that, their first drop is going to, blow them up, or all they need to do is just make a really good product. And then once they put it online and once they post it on Instagram or, whatever social media platforms, it's just going to go, they're going to sell out. And unfortunately, that's not the case. It doesn't happen that way. It takes a little bit more careful and methodical strategy in your marketing and, all of the different things that go into it outside of just the product. Just talked about this right now, not being able to get good content and get good products out in front of people. I need your help. If you can actually like this video, number one, if you can share this, that'll be even better. But if you can also subscribe to the channel, that allows for me to get into the algorithm. It allows for this content. I put a lot of time, as you can see, like I said, man, I'm in my shop right now. I'm taking this time out to give information to you guys. I want you to succeed, but this doesn't do anything if it's not in the algorithm. So in order for that to happen, if you can like it, you could drop a comment, and you can also subscribe. That'll help a lot. The first mistake that I see with a lot of clothing lines is they're not precise on who they're going after. They don't really know who their customer is. Their customer is very vague. It's a lot of people. It can be a lot of people. And when you have your products serve a lot of people, then oftentimes you're not serving any. The next thing is ordering way too much inventory. I know I'm a screen printer. I print for a living. This is my job. This is my business. But I see it all too often where customers come in, they're really excited about their products, and they're so focused on getting the products in their hands that they overinvest in their inventory. And 9 times out of 10 within that first year, the products that you think are gonna pop or you think are gonna sell, those are not it. Maybe 4 or 5 different designs away from that design that's actually gonna blow your clothing line up and really start to resonate with your PTMs. So customers that come in and they invest in a large amount of inventory in the beginning on their first designs, typically ends with them failing. So order the minimum quantities, push those, come back for more re-up, and then as you start to get proof of concept, you start to sell, then you can focus on getting those larger quantities. The next mistake that I see with startup clothing lines is they're not really focused on the user experience. They're more focused on the product, and that's it. User experience typically is how are people interacting with your products and your services. So your website, your customer service, are they getting notifications via email on, the updates on their garments or their products being delivered to them? Like this is all user experience. And the mistake that a lot of startup clothing lines focus on is they're not really worried about that. They're just really worried about getting sales. They're worried about, hey, I flipped my product, but they're not really thinking about like, hey, how did the customer feel? What was their user experience? So your poly mailers do they have your logo on there? Do you have, things that are inside of it, like stickers and care slips and things like that? Like those are all user experience. When they opened up the box, first of all, they got a box. I actually have a really good example of a box that this customer, this brand actually puts together. I mean, it's a Letterman's jacket. It's really nice, that user experience is really important, so it's just not the product, how it comes, the presentation of it, how your clothing line is interacting with those customers is really important. So you got to focus in on that. The next one is not taking it serious enough. I say this a lot, but your clothing line is a business. So what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. This first year, you're going to spend a lot of time, a lot of time. You're going to spend your nights, you're going to spend your weekends, you're going to spend your holidays focusing in on your clothing line. Those clothing lines in that first year, they're treating it like this like side thing, which it is, because most of you guys do have a job, you have a 9-to-5 that you're going to, that you have to do. But if you treat your clothing line like just this side thing and you're not putting enough time into it, how do you expect for it to just be, how do you expect for it to be great? How do you expect for you to get what you want out of it, right? You got to invest the time and you got to put more into it. And that's the way you're going to get more out of it. Next mistake that a lot of clothing lines make in the first year is they focus way too much on the margins. They're not focusing on getting the message out and making people aware of their clothing line. They're worried about like every single dollar, I need to make 50% on every single thing. And then they're not willing to give away some product. They're not willing to, go and sponsor an event, or they're not willing, to put their products in the hands of the people that need it. And sometimes when you're putting your products out, you got to give away something for free when people are testing you out. So they're too focused on the margins in the beginning in that first year. Like, you really should not be worried about making a whole bunch of money. Really what you should be focused on is making people aware of your message and your clothing line. Sorry to interrupt your video, but my book, The Clothing Man Blueprint, is now ready for pre-order. If you would like to get this, please go down in the description below and pre-order this. It's $25. I'm pretty sure in your closet right now, there is a shirt that costs $25, but it didn't help you actually grow your clothing line, right? But this right here is the same price as that t-shirt that you bought that's doing nothing but sitting in your closet. But this is actually going to give you the game so you can then sell your products for 3 times that amount. Pre-order this right now, down in the description below. Let's get back to the video. The next mistake is not taking enough risk. And I'm going to compare this to just not standing out in the market. So you're kind of conforming way too much to the masses. And what happens when you're going in the same direction as everybody else? Like I said earlier, you become that commodity. There's nothing about you that's different. Why would someone, purchase what you're doing? Right now, everybody's focused on a particular style. So how do you take that style and you make it your own so that you stand out against everyone else? And in order to do that, you have to take risk, and somewhat of like fashionable risk. And that's the hard part about it. But then the great part about it is fashion is very subjective. Some people like, others don't. And what others like, others don't. Horrible. And that risk is going to be that hook. Take the time to figure out that hook so that people can actually gravitate towards you and say, okay, like, this is different. I've heard this, but okay, this is different. Let me go here and see what this is about. And then your user experience and everything else that we kind of talked about hooks them even more and brings them into what you're doing. The next mistake is bad social media presence, handles, all that. It's really important that you have your clothing line have a name, have a handle that's easily rememberable, and that resonates with people. If you have a handle that is get money 24, 33, 27, like, it's gonna be hard for people to remember that. So it's better for you to simplify it, use acronyms, things like that. And then if you can, put that and post that on everything so that it just becomes second nature and people can see it. This also applies to your domains as well. You don't want to have super long domains, and your domain is going to be the URL, your custom URL. When people are going to your website, you don't want to have something that is shopify.com, or you don't want to have something that's super long where people have to remember it exactly verbatim the way it is. My advice, what I tell a lot of startup clothing lines, is you want to buy a bunch of different domains. You can buy, the one that has all of, like, let's say you have a really long name, buy one that has your entire name. Then buy variations of that so that when people are online and they're searching and maybe they don't get your name right, that domain that they might use or they might type in is still going to all get forwarded to your website. And then you want your main domain to be very simple. like super simple. The simpler, the better. But you have all of those complex domains get forwarded to that simple domain. The next mistake, and this is a mistake that's near and dear to me, is starting with the wrong partner. And the wrong partner doesn't mean that they're not qualified. The wrong partner can just mean that you guys are not, like, growth wise, like 5 to 10 year period, like your futures are not aligned.
Okay, in most cases, your business partner ain't and contributes a little to nothing to the growth of your business. In that case, get out as soon as possible before any money is made.
In most cases, the two business owners or multiple business owners, their long-term vision for the business is not the same. And then those ideas or that expectation starts to motivate the different actions of those different members. So for example, if you're all in and you're like, hey, like I don't really want to take money out of the business. I just want everything to get regurgitated back into the business so we can do X, Y, and Z and scale and grow and put into our process and figure out our R&D and all that stuff and market. But then your partner is more, hey man, I just want to flex on people, man. Like I'm able to make a rack every single 2 weeks, you know, doing this. And then you're way off. You're just not aligned. I would say stick to percentages so you guys can say, hey, like we're only gonna, our salaries or whatever money that we're gonna take from the business is 5 to 10% of our profits or our revenue, you know, so that if the business grows, you guys are still, you know, within that 5 to 10%, but then you can also go in and like renegotiate, like, hey, like now we're making a little bit more, maybe we could take 25%. I don't know, but I believe that if you stick to percentages, it's better than you saying, hey, this is the dollar amount that you and I are gonna take from the business. Because business will fluctuate, and if that's the motivator, it will definitely mess it up. And that's a quick way that partnerships go down the drain, is when, you know, financially and just systematically and goals, you guys just are not aligned. So the next mistake is not promoting after the launch. So a lot of clothing line owners, they spend all this time, you know, curating their products, getting their website together, you know, making all this content for social media. And then once they actually launch their products, all of the marketing, all of the promotion just stops. They're like, hey, you know, we're out here, people are gonna find us. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Walmart, McDonald's, Nike, all of these huge, like globally recognized brands spend dollars every single day, thousands of dollars every single day to stay relevant and continue to promote their products. The Big Mac has been promoted every single year. You know, there's a new way for them to promote it. You should be doing the same. Once you launch, that's just like, okay, cool. Like I have myself out there. I did the brunt work of like making sure all of my ducks were aligned. Now my job in promotion is to funnel people through that and expose what you're doing to as many eyeballs as you can. Let me correct that. Not as many eyeballs as you can, like just randoms. You want it to be people that are the closest, like your PTMs, your tribe, your potential tribe members. So you're not just promoting it to everybody, you're promoting it to the right people. And when you can do that, then that's when you start to have a scalable marketing plan, is when you're promoting to the right people, and those people are now going through your funnel. They're coming across all of your content, and they're purchasing your products, and your user experience is good, and you know all those things, and your product actually is what they believed it is, and they love it, and now they're a part of your tribe. Like that's when you start to gain traction, and then that's when, you know, your marketing is now scalable, because now you can put it in front of more people. The last mistake that many clothing lines make in the first year, that is going to be given up way too soon. So if you expect for your clothing line to blow up in 12 months, you're sadly mistaken. You're giving up before you actually can really reap the benefits of everything that you're putting together. It takes time for you to develop good products. It also takes time for you to figure out a effective way to reach out and get leads for your clothing line. It takes time for you to really figure out your process to make sure you know what products you can use and the systems of how you're going to get it printed. And if you have multiple products, like it gets even harder. So it takes time for you to do all those things. And if you give up way before, you know, you're actually able to sit back and say, man, I did that. Like, and this one hurts, man, because there's a lot of potential in a lot of the clothing lines that close their doors the first year. Because sometimes they do have really, in most cases that I've seen, they have really good products that I think people would appreciate, or the market would appreciate. They just haven't found a way to get it in front of the right people. And 9 times out of 10, most clothing lines stop not because of their products not being good. They stop because they don't really know how to promote it. They don't really know how to like get it out in front of the right people. And that's the main reason why a lot of clothing lines stop way too soon, is because they just don't have enough sales. They don't have enough exposure or attention on their products in order for it to make sense. I appreciate you guys. Please drop a comment down below if you are a new or emerging clothing line. Let us know where you're from. That'd be awesome. I do like to tap into the different clothing lines that are watching my content. Also, if you have social media handles and things like that you want me to check out, I would love to do that. I love to look at the different content that's out there. I love to look at products. I'm even going to start purchasing products from different clothing lines just to help support the small community of small entrepreneurs and creative entrepreneurs that are taking those leaps to start their dream of growing a clothing line into a clothing brand. So I want to be a part of that journey for you guys, because I see some pretty dope products out there, really creative products. Just talked about this right now, not being able to get good content and get good products out in front of people. If you stayed all the way to the end, I need your help. This doesn't do anything if it's not in the algorithm. So in order for that to happen, if you can like it, you could drop a comment, and you can also subscribe. That'll help a lot. So thank you guys for coming. Tap into the next video, and I'll see you there.